Joining me here in the studio is a federal MP, Keith Pitt. He's from the town of Bundaberg. This was one of the places the Queen visited on her very first trip to Australia way back in 1954. He joins me here in the studio. I think I'd call you a staunch monarchist as well. Would that be a fair title?
Well, we do have loyalty to the Crown and the Constitution of the Federal Nationals, Tom, so yes.
It goes a bit deeper than that for you though, doesn't it? Is it fair to say?
Well, look, I'm certainly absolutely a supporter, and I think it's very sad news this morning. And there was a group of school children here in the Marble Hall on arrival early from Luke Howarth's patch in Petrie in Brisbane. And even they, they're primary school kids, they very much understood that this was a big change.
Mm. So, I mean, for a lot of people, they've never known anything other than the Queen as Australia's monarch. Going back to that 1954 visit, so she had a visit in Australia. It was 2 hours in Bundaberg. But this was as big a deal as the town could imagine. There were days of rehearsals. The mayor was a bit upset because the handshakes weren't going well in the rehearsals at one point.
Yep, that's exactly right. So reported 30,000 people at the Bundaberg showgrounds.
People came not just from Bundaberg but right around the region.
5,000 by train from all around the region, 10,000 at the airport on arrival. And would you believe, sugarcane sticks and an archway with a 3-foot crown on the top from the ISIS district. It was a different time. They had updates from the broadcaster from the moment Her Majesty left Brisbane in the aircraft right through to arrival until they got in. And I rang my father this morning. My dad's 78. He was out driving a cane harvest this morning trying to get the crop off. And he was there as a school kid and he remembers it very clearly.
So reading about this visit, which has been archived, there was so much emotion and joy of the visit that when the practice was going on, when there were people standing in for the Queen and Prince Philip, people were getting overwhelmed with emotion. They were just standing in for the Queen.
That's it. Well, there's 2 young children who were in the car as part of the rehearsal. And as you said, the mayor was very unhappy with some of the handshakes that were practised. And as they departed in rehearsal, the crowd's been on their feet and roared from all reports. So I think it was interesting. When Prince Charles visited, now King Charles, of course, in 2018, he got a very similar reception. He was very warmly welcomed.
And I do like as well the fact that they had to figure out whether they're going to have wide enough space for the motorcade as well. Everything had to be perfect for this visit. It was a very different time, and I guess that's the other interesting thing. We've changed a lot as a nation, and royal visits have still been a big deal here. But they have dissipated in terms of the whole nation sort of being completely thrilled with them. Is that an interesting thing to reflect on as well during the Queen's reign, that affection for her has remained pretty strong, but our connection, I guess, as a nation with the royal family has dimmed?
Well, look, I think there's certainly been changes over a period of time, but I mean, I planted a tree for the Jubilee at the CWA Hall with the CWA ladies just a week ago, a number at schools around Bundaberg as well as part of the Jubilee celebrations. And I think right now, Tom, will be a time of reflection for all Australians, regardless of their views. And I think it's one where we reflect on the service of Her Majesty over such a long period. I mean, her connection is across 3 centuries, from Winston Churchill, who was born in the 1800s, right through until just in recent days with the new Prime Minister Truss in the UK. It's just incredible.
Reading the list of British Prime Ministers that served under her, I think is the terminology. Yeah, it's incredible to think the history caught up in that. Of course, she took in Winston Churchill's 2nd term. She was growing up and helped serve as well during World War II. Keith Pitt, thank you for your time and your reflections today.